Well, as of today, we have another couple of cruise ports screaming that they have too many people visiting. And these ports are not a surprise to me. JJ Cruise. Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Jordan and this is JJ Cruise. Thank you so much for coming into the video today. Well, we are back from Japan. If you missed our Japan content, definitely go and check that out. There'll probably be a few more pieces of Japan content, but we've come from Japan and we are now in New York City getting ready to board our New York City Broadway group cruise, which is a cruise that Jared and I are hosting. If you're on that cruise, we will see you in a little bit, but first we have some important things to talk about here on the channel. The destinations that we're going to talk about and the over-tourism that is happening there is a place that's very near and dear to mine and Jared's hearts. So we wanted to come on and chat about this, get feedback from all of you. But before we do that, I do just want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. We're on this journey to 100,000 subscribers. If you want to be a part of the first 100,000 JJ crew, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It is no secret that tourism is at an all-time high. After the pandemic, people decided that they were ready to travel, and they were ready to travel a lot. Cruising is no exception. In the early 90s, about 3.7 million people would board cruise ships annually. Now compare that to now, 2024, where they expect over 30 million people to have boarded cruise ships this year alone. If you're watching this video right now, you're probably somebody that takes cruises, because this YouTube channel is all about cruising. Since COVID, we've seen a number of different destinations kind of raise their hand and say, we have too many people in port. We're really not built to handle the capacity that are coming in and out on a daily basis. This includes places like Alaska, Sitka specifically. We've seen it on the East Coast in Bar Harbor. We've seen places in Canada talk about this. And now we are seeing Greece raise their hand and saying, we have a problem. Now I'm going to give you the rundown of what's going on over there, and then I'm going to let you know towards the end of the video why this does not surprise me at all. But the Prime Minister of Greece came out earlier today and said that they are struggling with over-tourism. They have a lot of people visiting very popular destinations in Greece, both by land and by sea, but cruise ships are coming there in numbers that they have never seen before. The two places that are specifically being talked about are Santorini and Mykonos. Some of these Greek islands only have 15,000 people that live there full time. In 2023, most of those islands saw an average of 24 million visitors come on and off the island. The tourism industry in Greece contributes to about 20% of the overall economy in that country. So it's obviously a very vital piece to making sure that Greece is a stable and sustainable country. But the reporting that is currently coming out of Greece is saying that the islands of Mykonos and Santorini and a few of the other even smaller islands really were never built to handle the crowds that are coming on and off these islands on a daily basis. You also have critics in the cruise space that claim that cruise tourists do not spend the amount of money that land tourists spend while there, and are really just taking up space. They're not helping the economy in a lot of ways. They're just kind of there filling up the streets and not really spending any money. Now, Jared and I have cruised to Greece twice in the last couple of years, and I don't know about everyone else, but everyone that we seemed to encounter on the ship were out there taking tours, eating at Greek restaurants, buying souvenirs, and spending a pretty good amount of money at these destinations. So I don't think that I personally agree that cruise tourists are not spending money in these places, but to ensure that this is now changing, the Prime Minister is starting a new tax specifically for cruise tourists. Every single person that stops in Mykonos and Santorini is going to have to pay a 20 euro fee in order to get into the island. Now, normally these fees are wrapped up in your taxes and port fees, so if you do have a Greek Isles cruise coming up in the next year, you could see those taxes and port fees go up. Always, always, always look to see if the price has changed on your cruise. Taxes and port fees can change, and that is in every single cruise contract when you say, yes, I'm going to the cruise and I am agreeing to pay the price that is here on my ticket. Cruise fare and onboard things typically do not change, but your taxes and port fees based on the destinations that you are going to could go up. So I'm sure it depends on what cruise line that you will be going on in terms of if this 20 euros will be wrapped up in your port fees, or if you're physically going to have to pay an entrance fee to get into these places over in Greece. Venice is another area that has banned cruise ships from coming in and out, and now also charges a fee to get onto the island or get back off. So we are seeing this happen in these extremely popular destinations. Venice is another one that we have been to by land travel, by the way, not by cruise ship. And I can say that it was absolutely packed when we were there. One other thing that the Prime Minister said in Greece that they're going to do is that they're going to limit the number of cruise ships that can come in and out of these islands after 2025. So here is another place similar to Norway that we might see cruise ships kind of steering away from or not going to quite as much. I said that I was going to share my opinion as to why I was not surprised by this. Well, on our Greek Isles cruise that did visit Santorini and Mykonos, it was unbelievably crowded. It was difficult to get through some of the very narrow streets. It was impossible to get into certain shops or restaurants at different times of day because there was just so many tourists there. When we were there with 4 other cruise ships, so 5 ships in total, and I do think that that is 2 ships too many to be in that port on any given day. I don't think that the fee is going to deter cruise ships from actually stopping at these places, but a mandate saying only 2 ships or 3 ships per day in Santorini or Mykonos will definitely cause the ships to not go there quite as frequently. If you are looking at a cruise to Greece, I would actually give you a couple of recommendations. First, I would recommend cruising mainland Greece. We did this back in February. We stopped at places like Thessaloniki, Hydra, Greece. We went to some of the smaller islands like Rhodes and Crete. This was one of the favorite cruises that Jared and I have ever taken because it was off season, there was no one at these port stops, and we were immersed in the Greek culture, got to know the Greek people, and we truly loved this cruising experience. Contrast that to our summertime cruise to Santorini and Mykonos, where it was difficult to get in places, hard to move around, and we had to pay pretty high fees to hire private tours to really get us out of the public spaces, because it was honestly miserable trying to get around from place to place. Well, add Greece officially to your list as to places that are trying to limit cruise ships. Tell me what you think of this news today. Have you been to Greece recently? Were you there this summer? Was it totally overcrowded, similar to my experience last year? Or do you disagree? And do you have a big problem with the critics saying cruisers don't spend any money in ports? I still kind of think that's a little bit of a ridiculous situation, but every time I say that here on the channel, I definitely have some of the people come out and come for me in the comments. So let me know what you think in the comments about this whole situation. And on your way out today, please don't forget to hit that like button. Well, again, my name is Jordan. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you later. I'm going to head off to our Broadway group cruise. And until next time, see ya.